We are not going to help you with anything. I want you to handle everything that has to do with your husband yourself, Andrea. Please stop thinking that just because I'm married to your oldest son, that we have to help you with everything. What? Ashley? I heard from Ruben already. You asked him to go and help out with his father while he's in the hospital. That is something you can handle all on your own, so don't be asking my husband to go there and help you. Just because he's your child does not make him your slave. That's not at all how I think of my children. I was just told by the doctor that my husband will be in the hospital for some time now, and considering that the new hospital is much closer to your guys' house than it is to mine, I thought it would be better to ask Ruben for the help. I was never meaning for that to seem as though I'd be making him handle everything for me. I wonder about that. I'm sure the moment he started to help out, you'd begin complaining about your knees or something and make him do everything. You can't handle all that simple work because you're so lazy, so you just make my husband and I do all the work. Well, that was never my intention though, Ashley. Anyway, my family will not be helping you with anything, especially since Ruben has become a lot more busy at work recently. He never has any time during the week to catch a break, so he really has to have his weekends to himself or he'll begin to fall apart. We have to have Saturday and Sunday in order to spend some time together or else I'm going to go mad. So don't expect that either of us will be using our time to come out and help you. That's why I never said he had to come out every week. I just asked that around once a month would be good enough and a huge help for me. And since Ruben is his son as well, my husband would be very happy to see him. It would be nice to have our son come out to the hospital and see his dad while he's going through his treatments. If I've already said that it's going to be impossible, please stop talking about it. If your husband really wants to see his son's face, then have him look at some pictures. That should keep him happy, right? Then, at the very least, can you help out? I heard about this from Ruben already, but earlier this year you quit your part-time job, right? If you have all that time on your hands now, it would really be generous of you to come out and help a little every so often. Really, I just need you to go into the hospital once or twice a month to see your father-in-law and listen to what the doctors and nurses have to say about him. Huh? And why should I have to come and help you? I'm not your guys' actual daughter. You have no right asking a complete stranger to come and help you out like that. But you keep telling me that my actual son isn't allowed to come and help us. No frickin' way. This is the exact reason why I hate you so much. If my son isn't going to help out, then I'll ask my daughter-in-law to do it. I really missed out on getting myself a proper mother-in-law, didn't I? Excuse me? Just know that no matter what you try and say, we're not coming to help you and your husband. When the husband is in trouble, it's his wife's job to go help. Your husband was kind enough to keep you around all this time, so you go ahead and take care of him and his recovery all by yourself.
Yo, Mom, what is going on here? I was listening to all the voicemails that were left for me, and there was one from you. Did you really end up putting Dad into an old folks home?
Yes, I really did. Dad is out of the hospital and all now, but he doesn't have any strength and still requires a lot of attention. The hospital told me he'd never be able to walk on his own again and would need to live in a wheelchair now. So I had a talk with some of the faculty at the hospital about what my options were, and they said the best thing to do was put him into an old folks' home.
No way, Mom. So Dad's really going to a home now?
Had you and Ashley been able to come over and help from time to time, then I would have thought a bit more about keeping him here at home. But you both are too busy to come and help, right? And since I'm getting old myself, it's becoming too much for me to have to carry him around and do everything in the house. So because of that, I'm really sorry, but your dad has to stay in that home. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from here. I'll make sure to handle all the paperwork and bills for the old folks' home, so don't you worry about that.
Wait. You can't do that to him, Mom. There is no way you could just put Dad into a facility like that now. Stop trying to be so selfish now and stay home with Dad and take care of him yourself.
Excuse me?
Do you have any idea how much it'll cost to have Dad put into one of these homes? That would be a waste of good money. If you just get off your butt and take care of him at home, then it won't cost a penny.
If you're worried about money, don't be. Both your dad and I have made sure to save up a lot of money throughout the years for things like this. I have the money to put him up for a few years there.
What are you talking about? All that money you and Dad worked so hard for to save up is supposed to go to us after you've both gone. And considering you both never really had that great of jobs, you can't have all that much money saved up, right? Yet, do you want to use whatever you have left sending Dad away like that? You'd only be wasting Ashley's and my inheritance that way.
Excuse me, Reuben, what the actual hell do you think you're talking about right now? Who the hell do you think you are to worry about your inheritance at a time like this? None of this money your dad and I have is yours, so don't you dare speak to me like that again, you idiot!
You're the freaking idiot, Mom. Using that money which should be ours on someone else like Dad? You were totally healthy, Mom, so stop being so lazy and help care for your husband. No way am I going to let you put Dad into a home like that just because you want to relax and have all that time to yourself. You have no right sending the man you spent so many years married to away like that.
It's because he and I have been happily married for this long that I want him to have a better life there than here. I would feel much more happy with my husband going into that home and being cared for by professionals than having him here all alone with just me. Do you have another plan that you care to share with me? Would you and your wife be willing to actually leave that house of yours and come out to help the family for once?
You know we can't be asked to do that. I'm busy with work right now and Ashley shouldn't have to care for Dad. I'm just asking that you get off your butt and take care of Dad yourself is all. I will not allow you to put my dad into one of those expensive old folks' homes.
Jesus Christ, Reuben.
Now, you take care of my old man. And you make sure to take good care of him from Ashley and myself as well.
Ashley, what the hell is all of this about now? There are just these huge boxes addressed from you showing up at my house now. I tried calling Reuben about all of this, but he won't answer me. Oh, so all our things are already showing up there. Well, can you make sure to put all those boxes in the living room for us? Answer my frickin' question, Ashley. What the hell are all these boxes doing at my house? I have a funeral to get to today for my husband, so tell me why I have all these boxes dropped off at my house. What? The funeral is supposed to be today? Well, then, can you make sure to have all those boxes moved up to the second floor for us? Both Reuben and I feel that with this chance, we're finally going to move back into that house now. What? You're moving into my house? We never thought that your husband would end up kicking that can so quickly. And it's not fair to have only you living in that massive house all by yourself now, right? Therefore, Reuben and I had a little discussion about it, and that's where we decided that we'd use this chance to move into that house with you. So, in other words, you guys are invading my house now? I never thought that the two of you would be so kind as to move in with me. I'm actually really happy to hear this wonderful news from you. You shouldn't be, because we're not actually going to be living there with you. Are you kidding me? You actually think the both of us would move into that house with the intentions of living with you? But you both are going to be moving into this house with me now, right? Correct, but not with you living there as well. So please hurry up and get out of there once you have all of our things carried in, Andrea. From now on, it will be Reuben and I that are living in that house as just the two of us. Excuse me? But I truly did forget that today was the day of your husband's funeral. I was thinking today would be the perfect day to move in. I guess since it'll be too much of a pain in the butt for us to come there today, we'll be moving in tomorrow instead. You hold it right there, Ashley. Are you really trying to kick me out of my own house right now so that you and my son can live here without me? The fact that you'd even think about kicking out an old woman like me, when Reuben hears about this, he'll be pissed. You think so? I'm not sure why he'd be pissed off when he was the one that said this plan was okay. Actually, this was his plan in the first place, Andrea. What? We had actually been wondering if we should have a new house built for us or not. But around this part of town, the land is all really expensive to buy, and there was no chance of us affording it. However, as we were starting to give up on the idea of getting a new house built, Ruben's dad died. He then said we could go and get your guys' old house and renovate it into something brand new and modern. So we've both agreed that we'll be taking your house now and putting some elbow grease into it and making it look brand new and amazing. Oh, there's no way Ruben would say that. So, now that you're aware of everything, I'd like you to get all of your things together after the funeral and get lost. We would really like to get started on all the renovations soon. Even if you're asking me to leave, where am I supposed to go? I'm too old now to be finding myself a new house on my own. Can't you both at least find me a place to move to before you come and take this house? Huh? We don't care what happens to you after this. Just go and find yourself a room at an old folks' home or something. Excuse me? It's probably really difficult for a single woman your age to find an apartment that will accept you, right? So I guess the only option you have left is an assisted living home. Then we won't have to worry about you ever again. What the hell, Ashley? You both were telling me the whole time before that I couldn't put my husband into a home like that because it would cost way too much money. Yet when it benefits the both of you, you're all open to having me put in one? Back then, neither Ruben or I knew a lot about those kinds of places. But recently, we had a look at some of the cheaper homes, and man, are they cheap. If you put yourself in one of those old and run-down homes out in the middle of nowhere, it should only cost around $500 a month. So if you can go to one of those places, please do. So, you're just fine throwing me into one of those old places without even thinking about letting me stay somewhere new and comfortable? You both aren't going to make me pay for wherever I go, right? You're going to pay for the home so that I no longer have to live here, right? Huh? Why would either of us be paying for you to go into one of those homes? Go ahead and do your best to pay for one of those places using your Social Security and as little of your savings as possible, please. Neither Ruben or myself are going to give you a single penny. Well, I'll be. I'm sure in your state you'll only be around a little while longer, right? So you shouldn't have any problems with leaving this house now and finding a rundown home to go live in, right? Now, you'd better hurry up and find yourself one of those super cheap old folks' homes before the day is over. From now on, that massive house of yours will be Ruben's and mine. Get out of our way now, you old dying hag. I'll give you all I have then. Oh, come on now. You're really going to give us all that money your husband left you and whatever you had yourself as well? What's happened to you, Andrea? I've had enough of the both of you, and I mean that with all my heart. Today's the day of the funeral of my dear husband, and I didn't expect either of you to come at all to see him buried. But then these boxes all started to show up to my house with your guys' names on them, saying you're taking my house now. Now that I've finally been driven up the wall by you two, I'm taking this house and all my money and giving it to you. Will that be enough to get you both to leave me alone forever? If you can promise me that, then I'll make sure to give you both everything that was in my husband's will and the house. That's a deal! Then once this funeral is all over with, I'll grab what little I have and be gone. Now you both enjoy the trashed estate that I'm leaving behind for you. This is all coming from my husband's will for you both, so please take that as something very special. What? What do you mean by trashed estate? Oh, I'm sorry, but there will be a lot of people coming soon for my husband's funeral. I'll have to be going now. Please excuse me. Hey, Andrea, what the heck is wrong with this whole house? The whole second floor is filled with trash and smells like rotting sewage. Hey, don't be saying all that about the house, all right? This has all been left for you two by your late father, and it should be respected for that very reason. You both asked to have the place, so please talk about it in a more fitting manner. Huh? How the hell is this house supposed to be respected as a gift from your husband? All the awnings in this house are broken, and the chairs in the house are all trashed with tears in them. And the dining table is so old that it looks like there's mold growing in the wood. What the actual hell happened to this place, especially the second floor? That's the house your father-in-law left for you two. Just before he passed away, he was collecting all these old and useless things and putting them upstairs. Things like those old dishes and the umbrellas, all those old clothes, the broken machines and electronics. And what was even more interesting is that even though he was bound to a wheelchair, late at night he'd leave the house and go off somewhere. What? Just in the middle of the night, he'd leave the house and wander off. After being discharged from the hospital, his head really went downhill and he became very senile. He would leave the house all night and come back in the early morning with all that junk and have me take it upstairs for him. To him, though, he thought of all of those things as presents for me that he'd gone out and bought. He thought all of this garbage was presents for you? When he was younger, he'd always come home with small little gifts for me. He was always thankful for the work I did caring for the house and the kids, so he'd bring me flowers and cake and other little treats to make up for all that. So considering the fact that he was so senile and was probably just thinking about how things were in the past with getting me all those presents, I couldn't throw any of it away. So I did as he said and took it all upstairs and dumped it in the rooms. I had tried just one time to try and toss some of that junk, but when he saw me taking it to the trash, he freaked out and started to ask why I didn't love him anymore. That's why all that junk stayed up there and never got thrown away. So that's why you told us to enjoy this trashed estate? We can't even get to half of the second floor because there's all this mounds of junk laying around. Well, if you just close some of the doors up there and leave it all be, you shouldn't notice any of the stench. I was planning on having all that junk cleaned out by professionals after my husband passed away so that I wouldn't hurt his feelings any. But both you and my son really wanted that house from me so badly, I had no other choice but to hand it to you both as part of my son's inheritance. That was a huge help, though, doing that for me. Are you kidding me right now? You do something about all this trash right now. Why do Ruben and I have to be the ones to clean up your husband's mess now? I told you that I'd be giving you guys everything that my husband left behind, right? In other words, all that he left behind was that house and its junk, which makes all of it your guys' junk now. So you both please clean it up yourselves. I'd gotten in touch with some professional cleaners before the funeral to ask about how much it cost to clean out that place, and they told me around $15,000. $15,000? That's the amount it'd cost to clean this whole house for us? There would be a lot of things they'd need to go through and clean, and a lot of machinery would need to be used as well. There also doesn't happen to be a whole lot of professional cleaners in this city. Out of the 3 companies I asked, they were all saying it cost around that much to get the job done. You have to be kidding me. Oh, but you both have already kicked me out of there, so you can go ahead and do whatever you please with the place. Just remember that that's what he inherited from his dad, so he should treat it with some form of respect. Shut the hell up about that, Andrea. The only option we have now is to throw all of this away. What the hell were you thinking? You told us you'd be giving us everything you had before leaving. We thought we'd be getting more money and things like that from you that you got from your husband. We don't want this trash anymore, so just give us some money. You have to still have something that you're hiding from us, right? I'm sorry to tell you this, but there's nothing else that I'm hiding. What my husband left behind was that house and whatever junk is inside it. What are you talking about? Back when you said you wanted to put him in an old folks' home, you said there was more than enough money to do so. But then we both asked that you take care of your husband at home and not waste all that money on putting him in a home, right? You saved all that money by not having to send him away, so that should all be coming to us now, right? Well, I suppose I did save money by not having to put my husband in a home, but that money was going to be coming from my own savings account. My husband never had the money to put himself into one of those homes for very long. What? What are you talking about right now, Andrea? What's going on here? To be honest, he was never really that good at saving money as I was. He was the one paying for the house and all the food and bills, which made me very happy. But with the rest of that money, he'd spend it on presents for me and on himself, never bothering to put any of it away. Well, that's why the only savings he and I ever had came from the money I made working part-time. And since it was all being saved up by me, I became the sole holder of that account. No way! So, really, the only things that my husband had in his will was the house, all the junk in it, and a couple $100 he had left over. I think the things you both have been hoping for all this time is the money that I currently hold. You're lying. So this old house and all the garbage in it is all we're able to get from him? We at least wanted enough money in order to pay off some of our debt. Now, I have some things to get back to, Ashley. I'll never be going back to that dump anymore, so go ahead and do whatever you want with it.
Hey, Mom. We will take care of all of that trash that's been piling up on the second floor. We'll even pay for the cleaners to come in and take care of the deeper and more hard-to-get stuff. So please, can you come back here and live with us from now on?
Huh? You really think I want to talk to you again after the way you behaved a while back? Weren't you both so excited to kick me out of the house and take all the things your dad left behind for you?
We had planned to really enjoy this house, but the money to get it renovated, I had thought that Dad would have had some money to give me as well in the will. But, he honestly has no money for me, does he?
What? What was that?
Well, look, you took care of Dad his last few months in the house, right? I thought that since you didn't have to waste all the money on sending him into an old folks' home, that money would be coming to me. That was how I convinced Ashley into moving here, because we both thought we could renovate the place without spending a dime.
So you were serious about wanting your dad's money that badly? I'm sure you've heard part of this from your wife, but there is nothing left in your dad's accounts. You both do your best to save up what you can and use that money.
We don't even have any savings ourselves, though. I'm still hiding all of this from Ashley, but at the beginning of this year, the company I worked for went and restructured everything. Because of that, we seriously have nothing in our accounts.
What? The company went through layoffs, is what you're saying?
Things weren't going so good with the last CEO, so he was kicked out and a new person came in who wanted lots of change. And for the longest time now, I've been in charge of making all the money that goes into our savings. So I went and took little by little out of what we did have saved up and claimed that that was my paycheck every month.
I can't believe that's the way you went through all your savings.
There was all the bills for things like our health insurance, car insurance, and so much more. But before all of this happened, I had been talking with Ashley about us getting our new house built. However, over time, I couldn't afford something like that anymore, so I brought up the idea that we could get my dad's house and renovate that. And then I'd be able to hide the fact that I didn't have any real money coming in anymore.
And that's when you found out the house you got was in tatters, right? And you don't even have the money to pay for the place to be renovated either, right? You've gone through all the savings you had trying to hide the fact that you have been unemployed this whole time. So this is all what's been going on with you?
Please, Mom. I get that Dad didn't have much money when he passed, but you have to still have a bit, right? I'll let you come back and live with us as long as you pay for the house to be renovated for us. I'll make sure to get Ashley to help me, and we can save up enough money to hire some cleaners to come in and do a deep clean. And I'll make sure to tell her to be more kind to you from now on.
No thank you, Reuben. I'm doing just as I was told and going into a retirement home. Actually, I've already found myself a place to stay and I'm doing all the paperwork right now.
What? You're already working on the paperwork?
Back when I was looking for a place for your dad, I also started to look around a little for myself. The people at the hospital were also a bit worried about the fact that not even my own son cared to help his parents any and gave me some good recommendations. I was able to care for Dad outside the hospital, but they were wondering what would happen to me after. And the place they recommended is so amazing.
Mom, come on now. You don't have to put yourself in a place as lonely as an old folks' home. I'm sure that you'll need help with something soon, so you can rely on Ashley and myself for that. So please, come back here and live with us. And please, use some of your savings to help us.
No way in hell, Reuben. No way in hell. I'm really looking forward to all the new people I'll be meeting at this place. I'll be able to chat with all of them about their lives and talk about the lovely life I had with your father. And neither my selfish son or his brainless wife will get in the way of that.
No way.
Now, you and Ashley have a great time living in that nasty house. I'm no longer going to associate myself with you two, so bye-bye. I was able to get right into the retirement home I was hoping for after I finished talking to Reuben. Both Reuben and his wife really wanted to know where I went, and so they both charged into the hospital my husband was at before demanding to know where I was. But before they could cause too much trouble, the nurses called the police and they were both taken out of the hospital. And as the two tried to wrestle themselves away from the police, they could hear all the nurses inside calling them morons and saying that they can't cry for their parents' help only when it benefits them. Soon after that, Ashley learned about how Reuben had lost his job almost a whole year ago, and that he was using all their savings to try and cover that up. She was so shocked by what she had heard, she couldn't even talk to her husband for days. Things for them only became worse, though, as Reuben was having real difficulties finding a job, and those in the neighborhood would start calling them ungrateful and lousy for never going to their father's funeral. I'm not sure who is all behind it, but recently the house has only become more trashed as there's crap all over the yard now, and the first floor looks like it's about to explode too.
Peyton, this month you should be getting your bonus, correct? I just want to make sure that you'll be putting a large portion of that bonus into this house, alright? You're kidding me, right? You want me to put my bonus into the house as well now? Of course I do. Ever since your father had to be laid off by the company while it's gone through some restructuring, it's been hard paying off the bills. Your family is in a pinch right now. So you, being our daughter, need to step in and help us all out. And I totally understand that, Mom. And that's why every month I've been putting in $1,500 for you and Dad to use on bills. Yet now you're going to ask for my bonus too. Quit with all of that whining. If you had some complaints to make, then go take them to your father, who not only got laid off, but is in the hospital right now. It's because of him that his household is struggling so much. I would never go and complain to him right now. I'm not lying when I say that your father is such a waste. You should be embarrassed for being laid off like that during a simple restructuring of that company. And now he's sitting in a hospital because he got into a car accident while nodding off. I'm sure that the hospital bill is going to be atrocious as well. I can't get any use out of him anymore now, can? Please don't talk about Dad like that, Mom. From what I can tell, the reason he was nodding off in the car is because of you. What was that? Why am I the only one to blame for him being sleepy while driving? You've been putting a lot of stress on Dad by making him spend all of his time looking for a new job. But at the end of each day, when he doesn't have a job lined up, you tear into him, blaming him for each and everything. Do you not see how much pressure you're putting on his shoulders right now? It's because of that Dad hasn't been able to sleep at all anymore and got into that crash. I feel sorry for him now, because all he was trying to do was get his life back together for us. Well, maybe he shouldn't be such a spineless man then. If it weren't for me tearing into him like that, then he would have never had the ability to even start looking for a new job. I was only putting that much pressure on him for his own benefit. Now you shut your mouth about things you don't understand, Peyton. Wait. You were taking things way too far though with him. Recently, you started threatening him with not giving him anything for dinner because he couldn't line up a job for himself. And at some point in there, you started to only feed him frozen dinners while you fed the rest of us proper meals. When I heard all about that from Dad, I was just shocked and felt terrible for him. I was doing what was right for him. If he's not going to show anything for all that time he's wasting looking for work, then he's not going to get fed properly. Well, if you're so upset about him not finding a new job, then why don't you start working? It's not like you do any of the chores in the house anyway. Stop being such a lousy housewife and pick up a shift or two at the local grocery store. What? What did I just hear from you? It's because of your father I have to spend every day stressing over things that a wife should never need to stress about. I have never had to worry about how to save the most money and about what was going to happen to all of our savings if he doesn't get back out there soon. You're going to ask me to work a job now while going to all of this stress? If I have to do that, then it will be me sitting in a hospital next from all the stress I'm dealing with. Well, at the very least, work for like 2 days a week, okay? Stop trying to rely on money I hand to you guys and start making some money for yourselves again. Shut up! I want you to take responsibility for your father's stupidity, not me. You're his daughter after all, and share some of his same traits. I am not going to work a job, no matter what you try to tell me, so shut it now. What? Now, once you get that bonus into your bank account, I want you to send it right over to my account, because it's this family's stupid father that we don't have any income and barely any money left in our savings, so the only person I can rely on now is my daughter. I'm sorry, Dad, but I'm not going to be able to come in today to see you. I have to stay late at work today, so I won't be able to get into the hospital in time before they stop allowing visitors in.
No worries, Peyton. Just focus on your job. And by the way, how's work been going for you? I feel so horrible that you're having to work twice as hard now for my failures.
And like I'm always telling you, you don't always have to apologize for any of that. You have to spend time in the hospital now getting better. So you just sit back and relax while I show you just how much money I can bring in to support the family.
Thank you, Peyton. I'm so happy to see that I raised such a reliable young woman. But of course, something like this should never fall on your shoulders. I hate the idea of needing to rely on my own daughter to support the family in my place. Once I'm out of this place, I'm going to try twice as hard to find myself a job. Get things back to normal for everyone.
You don't have to push yourself too hard though, alright? It's not like I'm doing anything outside of work right now. I don't have any hobbies, and all of my money is normally just going straight into my savings. I think it's totally alright for you to rely on me and my income right now.
Please. But to a father, something like that just doesn't seem right. I understand. I'm not the best man out there, but I still have some pride left that I want to hang on to. I've been writing memos down about all the money you've been giving us, so when I'm out of here and have myself a job again, I'm going to give you all that money right back. I promise.
You've always been way too serious about things like money, Dad.
And that's because I feel that the money one earns shouldn't be wasted on those who can do better. It's been 2 years now since I started relying on you for your money. 2 years. You've given me $500 a month. And I should be able to earn my money myself. And now, after 2 years have gone by, you've already given me over $20,000. I'm so sorry about that.
What? Hold on a sec. I think you've been writing down wrong, Dad.
What? I have?
I haven't been giving you $500 a month, but $1,500 a month, right? So that would mean, well, you've been giving Mom around $30,000 of that money, right?
You've been giving us $1,500 a month. Wait a second. I never heard about you handing us that amount. You've been putting $1,500 a month into this household, and I've not known a thing about it.
Why are you so shocked by all of that, Dad? I've heard from Mom that you guys don't have much in your savings anymore. So after doing the math, $1,500 is the bare minimum you need to stay above water, right? So that's why I've been handing you guys $1,500 a month.
No. Just wait. We have the savings to keep ourselves going, Peyton. I promise you that. I know it might not be a lot for the long run, but I received $50,000 from the company while I was laid off as a package.
What? So that was the amount you received?
Yeah, that's right. I understand the reason why they were laying people off, and at the time they were handing out packages to those that would take them, so I went ahead and did so because I knew if I didn't, I might get laid off and not receive nearly that amount. So we've had $50,000 in our bank account this whole time, Peyton. Your mom and I. It's also why I wasn't pushing myself too hard to find a new job right off the bat, but as soon as your mom began to try and push me harder and harder to do so, and well, the car accident happened, and your mom and I don't really have the best insurance plan, so it's going to cost an arm and a leg to pay the bills, so a lot of the money I had in my savings was used to pay all that off, but we're not in debt or anything because of it. But I suppose me having to spend that kind of money on hospital bills has gotten your mom even more stressed out. That's why I had asked her to keep asking you for $500 a month. You'd been giving us $300 a month after I lost my job, but since the accident, I had told her to bump it up to $500 a month from you so that she didn't have to worry as much about money. You were told that by her as well, right?
Wait. That story is completely different from what Mom was telling me. She told me that you guys have nothing in your savings, and that when you were laid off, you didn't get any money from the company.
Huh?
That's why when she asked me to give you guys $1,500 a month, I thought I had no other choice but to do so for you two. But now you're telling me that you've had money in your savings this whole time?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask her about that right now. I'll also take a look at her account balances again. See what everything looks like. I feel there's still a bit of money left in there, so you shouldn't have to be giving us that much each month. If I find that we're still fine, I'm gonna ask you to stop sending that kind of money to us each month, okay?
If you don't mind, can you let me handle all of that for you? You are still in the hospital and should be focused on getting better rather than this issue between Mom and I.
You sure?
Of course. Honestly, I don't think she'd be too kind to you anyway right now. So I'd much rather take all that crap from her than let her start tearing into you again. Just sit back and let me handle things, Dad. Now, I'll be back to see you the next time I have a day off, and we can talk some more about this. Good luck with your recovery, okay? Peyton? I'm sorry to have to ask this from you, but do you mind giving your dad and I $2,000 this month? $1,500 is not going to be just enough this month. Why won't be enough, Mom? You have been making sure to save that money up well every month, so you should have no other need for another $500 from me. What are you talking about? This month I will be having my birthday. And so far, I have been doing my very best to live every month, spending as little of the money you give as possible. So can you please just hand me a little extra this month to have some fun with? If you had started to work a part-time job like I asked, then you wouldn't have to be trying so hard to save money each month. Huh? Well, whatever, I guess. I have no choice since this month is your birthday. I'll try my best to get you that $2,000 this month, okay? But that will make this month the last month I ever had any money over to you. I quit my job today, so there is no more money coming in for me. Excuse me? For a little while I'm going to be unemployed, so please be aware of that. You'll be able to have some fun this month for your birthday, but after that, you're going to need to put your best foot forward and start being even more careful with money. You hold it right there. What do you mean you quit your job? Don't tell me that you've been laid off now. There's no way. Not only your dad laid off, but now you too? I've had enough of this crap. I cannot believe both you and your father are that stupid. Did you just call the both of us stupid right now? I sure as hell did. You are both completely brainless. I cannot believe that you both are a part of my family. I've always been aware that your father's been a complete fool, but you were supposed to be different. You got a job at a huge company and everything, making more than your father. I thought there was still some hope for me because I could really use your income. But now I'm seeing a trend here. Peyton, you get all of your things together right now and leave this house at once. What? It seems my time of getting any use out of you has come to an end now. And if you're not going to be making any more money, then you're nothing. This household does not have the money to hold on to a jobless loser like you. All you are to us now is a waste of money. So hurry up and leave. And don't even bother coming back to me until you start making some money again. I'm not sure you have the right to be talking to me like that, Mom. I had only just quit my job, and you're already calling me useless and asking me to leave? After all the money I've been handing over to you each month? Shut the hell up, you useless idiot! Not only did you end up looking a lot like your father, but you both seem to lack the same amount of brain cells as well. If this was going to be how you turned out, I would have been better off never giving birth to you. No, wait. I would have been better off never getting even married to your stupid father. Jesus Christ, what the hell has happened here? If only I had chosen to marry another man at the time. All I needed was one other man to propose to me at the time, and I would never had to been stuck with your father. I had another man at the time, but I should have stayed with him instead of leaving the moment your dad proposed to me. I can't believe I made such a foolish mistake then. You're kidding me. Were you actually going with another man at the time you were dating Dad? Shut your dang mouth. That has nothing to do with a brainless child like you. Now, I want you to stop sitting around and get out of this house by today. I do not have it in me to take care of two useless losers now. I don't even want you to be my daughter anymore if you're not going to make any money for me. I'm going to become a CEO starting next week though. What? But since I'm such a useless daughter, I'll hurry up and gather my things. Thank you so much for the small amount of attention you ever gave me for these past few years. Now, have a great rest of your life, Mom. Wait a moment, Peyton. What do you mean you're becoming CEO next week? You just told me you got laid off today. No, you have it all wrong. I told you, I quit my job. I plan on taking a new job next week, and that's why I quit my job at the current company. Actually, I'm going to be in charge of making my own company. Making your own company? Well, to be fair, the company has already been made and is doing quite well at the moment. I actually created this company a while back, but I've been leaving it in the hands of some employees to run while it's been growing. So in the meantime, I've been working another job making a bit of extra cash. A lot of that extra cash has been going into my company this whole time, and after a few years, I finally figured it was time to go back to being a full-time CEO again. What? That's why I've gone and quit my job today, and I'm heading back next week to take the reins of my company. In other words, the job I've been treating as a side hustle will not be my source of income. Or maybe I should be saying that I'm giving up my side hustle to focus solely on my main job. Technically, I haven't been a CEO of the company for the past few years due to leaving one of my employees in charge, but I think it's time I go back. I want to try even harder now to expand the company, and from what I can tell, all my employees are agreeing with me. You're joking, right? You've had your own company this whole time? Had I not, I would never been able to afford to give you $1,500 a month. Peyton, things like that. You should really be telling your parents about a lot sooner, right? You probably already know that I was just saying you about leaving the house was all a joke as well, right? Since you're going to be a full-time CEO, you can continue to stay with us all you'd like. What? Are you sure? Of course. I know what you mean now by not having any income for a little bit right now, right? You're just going to be taking a week to get everything to set back up again, to be the CEO of your own company. Full-time now, right? I'm not really sure what all of that entails myself, but hearing you'll become a CEO makes things totally okay with me. So you can continue living with your father and I here, while helping us both financially. I'm not sure I want to do that anymore. So I'm going to be leaving now. I'm not going to ever hand any money over to you again. What did you say? Are you actually trying to say that you're going to forget about both your mother and your father? Your father is unemployed and in the hospital right now, Peyton. What the hell is wrong with you for thinking it's okay to turn your mother and father away while we're both struggling? Dad's out of the hospital now. I guess you also didn't know about that. What? And you have it all wrong about me forgetting about you and Dad. I'm just going to keep caring for him. It's only you that I'm turning away from. From now on, it's just going to be Dad and I living together. So do whatever you can to support yourself, alright? Wait, what does all of that mean? Since when did your father get out of the hospital? And what the hell do you mean you're only going to help your father now and not me? How about you step back and think about why that could be, Mom. Now, Mom, I'm off to get ready to leave this house. I hope you have a good one. Dad, I'm going to be coming over to you today to start living there. Mom told me that she wanted me out of their house, so I'm packed up and never going back there.
Wow, great work today, Peyton. How'd your mom take all that? Hearing about how you quit your job. Gonna become a CEO now.
She was freaking out a lot more than I ever thought. And just like you said, it doesn't seem like she knew anything about you getting out of the hospital. She started asking me about when you got out of there and with all of that. She was shocked as though she ever knew what was really going on with her husband.
Well, I knew that idiot was never going to remember anything I told her. I called her and told her the day I'd be getting out of the hospital and everything. She never seemed to really care at the time about me. Wasn't even happy to hear the news. And just like I'd expected, only you came to the hospital on the day I was being released.
But due to her not caring about all of you, we were able to get prepared for this day, and she never suspected a thing. This was our plan for the longest time now, and it's worked out perfectly for us. Right after you got out there, we were able to go to a realtor, and they helped us get a real nice place. That was pretty fun, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've been looking forward to all this for such a long time now that my heart is racing with excitement. I guess we can mark today as the day you and I both started living together free from the rule of that crazy woman. Yeah, and by the way, I've found myself a new job already.
What? Is that right?
While I was going through rehab at hospital, I started to search for work again. I couldn't just sit around every day focusing on myself when I had a daughter who was working her butt off making money for me. Thankfully, in this day and age, we have the internet, and I was able to do interviews online for the job. And due to a filter I was using, they never knew I was interviewing for a job in a hospital bed.
Great work, Dad. I knew you were always smarter than whatever Mom was saying about you. I guess today you and I can crack open a bottle of wine to celebrate. I'll make sure to buy us a really nice red wine from the store on my way over.
Then I'm gonna get started on making up some delicious snacks for us to enjoy with the wine. You've always liked those chicken wings I cooked, right?
Absolutely. Once I'm finished picking up the bottle of wine, I'll be right over, okay? Then we can celebrate our new lives together without ever having to worry about being stressed about Mom again.
I can't wait. I'm gonna make sure I start doing my best from now on again, so that you can have a break.
Please, Peyton, please tell me where you and your father are living. I called the hospital, and they told me you weren't joking about him at all. He did really get let out of there, but none of the nurses or anything were willing to tell me anything else about him and where you both moved to. I just got the paperwork in the mail from your dad saying that he wants a divorce. Can you believe any of this? Oh, so it's already made to you? Luckily, we had lawyers send all of that paperwork to you from their office, so that you couldn't see where the papers were sent from. All we need you to do now is sign those papers and send them back to the lawyer. I don't want a divorce, though. If both you and your father leave me, then how am I going to live? I will apologize for everything I've done to you both so far. I'm sure that both of you and your father are upset about how cold I've been treating you, right? I'm sorry, but your apologies are no longer wanted by us. Both Dad and I no longer want to live with you, alright? So hurry up and let Dad be free again. If you don't and make this divorce take longer than it needs to, then Dad is going to make sure he gets even more money from you than he's already asking for. What? Did you think neither of us knew what was going on here? I'm very sorry, but we both know very clearly what ended up happening with both Dad's savings and the money I was giving to you. I know you were trying your best to hide from Dad that you were getting $1,500 from me each month, but when he told me he was only getting $500, we made a huge realization. What exactly have you been using the other $1,000 in each month? You're kidding me, right? Why do you both know about everything? I never said anything about the money besides that it was going to your father and I, so how did you realize something was up? So what are you going to do, Mom? Are you going to shut up and sign the divorce papers? Or are you going to force us to get every penny you took from us back? So those are your two choices, Mom. So which one would you like to choose? I can't make a choice just from that. Even if I try to, the money you've already asking for is too much for me to pay out. I'm sure it is. You ended up using around $80,000 of ours, right? Well then, there is only one choice left for you. That's to shut up and sign those papers. But wait, I'm too old now to be getting a divorce, and this whole time I've been a housewife without ever having to work a day in my life. Are you guys really just going to toss me on the streets like that? I have been with your father for years and years now, and he's just going to throw me and everything away? Huh? But you were saying that to me before, that you had wished you never chosen to get married to him. You had that other man you were going out with as well, that you think you'd been using a better choice right now, right? What? And as for myself, I'm just a jobless loser that would be getting in your way, right? Don't tell me you were just joking about all of that. Because from what Dad and I have seen, you're the only jobless loser left in our family. So please stop thinking either one of us is going to help you out anymore, alright? Let me just say, you are no use to either one of us anymore. But wait, Peyton, all of that was just a joke. That's what I thought you'd say. But I'm being serious right now. I would never want anything besides being married to your dad. And you are too important to me for me to actually have to believe you're useless. So please don't throw me away. No matter how much you beg for us not to leave you, it's all going to be for nothing. Now hurry up and sign those papers for Dad, please. We are giving you until tomorrow, and if nothing's come back from you by then, we'll have the lawyer go to your house. And if at that point you still don't hand him the signed papers, then he's going to hand you a paper saying the amount of money needed from you in the settlement. No way. Yes way. This is what happens when you act like a spoiled brat when you're close to being 60 years old. Once we get those signed divorce papers from you, don't expect to ever hear from me again either. Both of us brainless idiots are going to move on in life together. So a super smart woman like yourself needs to do your best as well on your own. Goodbye now, Mom. And after that, my mom sobbed while signing the divorce papers, and soon after that my mom and Dad got their divorce. From there, my mom tried to get an all-women's shelter house where she could have been cared for and fed by the city. But upon arriving at the doors, she was turned away by the lady at the front desk. Apparently they didn't think she was in a bad of a situation as she had been pleading in, because she came in wearing all brand clothing and carrying a very high-end purse. They suggested that if she was really in a pinch, she should go and sell all of those things first, and might then have the money she needs to carry on. As of right now, my mom has been seen working at a super, close to her house, trying to make things work on her own. And as for my dad and I, we have been really enjoying living in our new home together. My dad is now working for a very kind company, where all of the staff have been helping him get used to the systems and things like that. He's even begun learning about how to work more with a laptop, instead of relying on those old arcade computers he was used to. He goes on a lot about how much he's been loving his new job, and about how fun it is to learn new things there. Seeing him that happy to have his life back on track has started to make me feel a lot better as well. I think the both of us have completely forgotten about what life was like with my mom.
I'm sure you were pretty shocked to see who my husband is going to be, right? From my seat, I could see every little detail on your face as you realized just who I'd be getting married to.
I'm way past being simply shocked, Freya. I'm in a panic. What the hell is going on here? Why are you getting married to Carson, of all people? I was just dating him 3 months ago before we broke up, right?
And right after he broke up with you, him and I started to go out with one another. And that's why we are getting married now.
Stop making it sound so easy. I was just listening to what others here have been saying about you two. You and Carson have been with one another for over a year now. What the hell do you mean you started a date after you broke up with me? That makes no sense when everything else is saying you've been going out for 4 times as long.
Oh, no way. You really listened well to what everyone's been talking about.
Tell me what is going on here right now, Freya. If it's really the truth that you and him have been dating for a year now, then that would mean he was cheating on me the whole time, right?
Well, yeah. What everyone has been saying is the truth. I'm so sorry, Alina. This whole time, him and I have been sleeping with one another behind your back.
That is unbelievable. You have been my best friend ever since middle school, Freya. How could you let him cheat on me with yourself? And now you're both going to get married?
Come on now. This was bound to happen, right? You're so happy with one another, so of course we're going to get married now that you're gone. Can you just please be happy now for the fact that your best friend is getting married to your ex?
What?
You still have a lot of time at this wedding. There's also going to be the after party, right? I don't want you sitting around all gloomy like that, okay? You'll begin to scare the rest of the guests. Now I'm with Carson getting ready for everything. Can you please take a look in the mirror and practice putting on a smile again?
Carson, what the hell is all of this? You had been cheating on me with my best friend that whole time, and now you're getting married to her. What the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey. Don't be so upset with me, alright? When it comes to us men, we always want to be married to the most pretty woman. Now to you two, Freya ended up being the most pretty.
What the hell? You think you can just get away with saying something like that? Do you not feel as though you've done something terribly wrong to me? You've lied to me this whole time about something so unthinkable. You have no right sitting around feeling as though you're in the clear now.
Think I've been lying to you.
Well, you said it to me like this. You said you'd be moving away for work, that we'd have to start a long-distance relationship. But you told me that you didn't like the idea of a long-distance relationship, and then you asked me to break up with you. And after I started to understand how I thought you felt, we broke up. But not even a half a year later, you're getting married to my best friend? What is going on here? What the hell happened to you leaving town for work?
You have a really good memory for understanding what all took place 3 months ago. About that transfer out of town. In the end, someone else ended up being elected to move. So I was able to stay in town and not move away.
Uh-huh.
I was really planning on breaking up with Freya as well then. I hate the idea of having to do a long-distance relationship and know I won't be able to last through it. But after breaking up with you, I just couldn't get myself to say goodbye to her. She's just too dang beautiful for me to turn away, but luckily, I ended up not having to leave town after all. So, after hearing that I wouldn't have to leave, her and I decided we needed to get married.
You literally love to lie to me about everything all the dang time, don't you? I know that the whole thing about you ever needing to move for work is a lie. All you really wanted was a way to getting rid of me, so that you could be with the woman you've been cheating on me with. Why can't you just tell me the truth from the start, instead of wasting all your time making up such weak lies?
Hey. Don't continue thinking everything I say to you is a lie. Especially when it could very well be the truth that I'm talking about.
You honestly don't know where to end with all your bullshit, do you? I can tell that no matter how long we talk about all of this, you are never going to come around to apologizing to me.
I think you should be asking for my forgiveness before an apology. So why'd you keep whining for me to apologize when you're the one who needs to apologize to me?
What?
Stop with all your whining and look at the reality of this situation, you loser. You caused quite the stir for the rest of my guests now by acting the way you did when you noticed that I'd be marrying your best friend. I want to apologize for all that before the end of the day, alright?
Putting on a smile again. Dang, you're still around here? I had assumed you were bawling your eyes out right now and on the run home. I'm not leaving this place just yet, Freya. You had asked me to stick around and give a speech for you today, even though I now know you as a backstabbing jerk. So even though I'm very pissed about the circumstance, I'm in. I'm still going to give that speech I promised. You really are a wonderful woman, aren't you? I've always hated how much you like to seem like you were this perfect, respectable woman. What? You were this very serious and smart girl who had even more friends than me. I can't even bear looking at you, being such the perfect girl, and that's why ever since middle school, I've hated you. I'm supposed to be more pretty than you, and I have all these men surrounding me. So why did you end up with more friends than I could ever make? It doesn't make any sense. I should have everyone asking to be my friend because of my beauty. Yet everyone flocked to an ugly mess like you. It doesn't make sense that you ended up being the popular one. No sense at all. Oh, wait a second, Freya. What? Haven't you and I always been really close friends? How could you have been thinking of me that way all this time while acting as though you liked me? I've been faking it. All this time, I've hated your guts. Are you kidding me? Not at all. You're just some ugly little whore who should have never ended up with a single girl wanting to be your friend. But you seem to do the unthinkable and attract all these friends. So I thought I'd do the same and do you by becoming your friend as well. By having you on my side all the time, I'd look even more attractive to the guys, and I'd be able to make just as many friends as you. I may have looked like I was having the time of my life with you, but on the inside, it felt as though I was rotting away. Rotting away? You felt all that way all along then? I can't believe this. You can't?
If I was just kidding about all of this, then I would have never stolen Carson from you. You're still not going to believe that I hate you, even after having this wedding to your ex. But ever since middle school, you and I have ever been together through everything. We were always in the same class together, and would always do sports together and everything. You're going to tell me now that it was all a lie? I'm sorry, but this was all in fact a lie. Ever since 7th grade, I have hated every single thing about you. What? Did you just say 7th grade? Did I ever do anything then to piss you off? You sure did. Everything you did pissed me off and hurt. The fact that an ugly whore like you could hurt me in so many ways really infuriated me. What? I will forever remember the year as being the worst year of my life. I was just starting to fake being your friend and became this popular and wonderful queen. But when I went to Jacob, who was in class above us and the class president for his grade, he rejected me when I confessed my love to him. Do you want to know what he told me, the most beautiful person in that school? He told me that he didn't want to be with a girl who put so much makeup on her face. He said it was not healthy for me to do that. And that was not all though. After that, he told me to learn a thing or two about you, being healthy, since you were my best friend and didn't use any makeup. Why the hell would he say something like that to a natural beauty like me? Why should I have to learn a dang thing from you about being healthy? What's wrong with me using makeup to make myself look even more sexy? What? Can you hang on for a second? All of that has nothing to do with me. Huh? I never knew that you confessed that you liked Jacob to him back then. And since he's older than you, I'm sure he was just saying that to try and help you out. But if you're going to get mad about what he said, don't get mad at me. Shut the hell up, ugly. You're the ugly whore here. So you take responsibility for what he said. What? Ever since 7th grade, on the day he said that to me, I have absolutely hated everything about you. You were already far worse than me by having an ugly mug like that one you back then. But now that we've become adults, I can see you don't even have the same strength as me to keep a man you love by your side. I am the most strong woman when it comes to men, and I should be praised for such a thing now. Yet for some reason, you still think you can do better. Well, I'm going to bury you for thinking that. You're never going to be as good as me, because I'm now getting married to a man who works for one of the largest companies in the state, and I was able to do all of this by stealing him from you. So wait, you took him from me because you thought I was trying to be better than you? You stole Hunter from me because you're so upset with me over something that was happened back in middle school? Go screw yourself. All I had to do was show Hunter a little bit of what I'm about, and he stuck to me like a leech. I'm sure you thought you were going to continue being the best, but you're no match for a woman with my looks and strength. All you are is another one of those pigs that tries to make themselves out to be more human. You ugly whore, you're never going to win against a most sexy woman ever. Wow, men are always going to go for the best looking, and it really didn't take much to have Hunter. I hope you don't hold any of this against me, because all of this beauty is natural. Now, I'm going to get back at you for all those years of you thinking you were better than me by marrying him and being the perfect wife he's always been wanting. In this world, beauty means everything, and I was lucky enough to be born pretty. I didn't even have to try for anything I want anymore, while you have to work your butt off to get even one guy. Now, you ugly whore. I was the one that left Carson though, Freya. What? As of right now, I have no feelings for Carson, and I haven't had any for a long time now. I was actually really happy to see you both getting married, but what I've just heard from you really has me feeling off right now. You stole my boyfriend from me, all because I'm too ugly to have things. Well, that doesn't make any sense, because I was the one that told him to leave, and right now, you're getting married to a man who was thrown away by someone you're calling ugly. Uh-huh. Don't think you can talk to me like that when I know the truth. You're the one who was thrown away by him. I'm not going to believe for a second that you're the one with enough power to let go of Carson. From what you've heard, the reason for us breaking up is due to him being moved out of town for work and him not wanting to do a long-term relationship. But even then, before we started to talk about that, I was pretty much over the guy. He'd already been lying to me about things for a long time, and that lie was about having to leave town was the lie that broke my feelings for him entirely. And that's why, after he told me to break up with him, I agreed and didn't even ask
any time to ask for him to stay. I knew he had another woman he was cheating on me with, so there was no way he was actually leaving town for work. It was so annoying having to listen to him go on about that huge lie when I already knew the truth, especially when I also knew about his wife and child. What? What wife and child? Huh? Carson had always been keeping so many things from me for so long during our time together. But no matter how many times I tried to confront him about them, he'd just go on about some other lie. Wait a second, Alina. What the hell do you mean he had a wife and child? Are they still around? Today him and I are going to get married. We are in the middle of that very wedding right now. So how the hell does he have a wife and child when he wants to get married to me? Right? You have no reason to believe that he has wife and child right now, as you're supposed to be getting married to him right now. So in order to help clear things up for all of us here, I got in touch with his wife about the wedding. What? I told her that the woman he had been cheating on her with is going to marry him today. And she replied by saying she'd be coming here right now. And even with that, she even said that in my place, she'd be giving the speech for you guys. So you can prepare yourselves for when she gets here, and I'll find myself out now. What? Wait a second. His wife is coming right now? Really? And wait, you're going to leave us at a time like this? Well, come on now. I don't want to continue watching this wedding between the man that cheated on me and the woman who faked being my friend all this time. It's making me want to vomit. Had you never asked me to give a speech today, I would have left a whole lot sooner. What? Now you and Carson have a wonderful wedding. I really hope this turns into the perfect wedding you've been wanting.
Hey, Alina, since when did you find out about me having a wife? I did everything in my power to keep all that a secret from you. You're never supposed to be able to find out about her.
A few months ago, you came back to the house all drunk off your butt, right? At that point in time, I got a good look at that ring on your finger.
What?
You had told me you were going on a small business trip out of state, right? But it turns out you were still in town that night and had been drinking with a partner of yours from work. After you came home, I saw that ring on your finger and knew something was wrong. So to find out what was going on there, I looked into your work and things like that.
You did?
I never thought that the company had always been working for Maine's office, what was out of state. Man, I'm so sorry, Carson. You weren't wrong about the business trip for you. Rather, you had it all backwards. You had actually come out to the smaller office in town where I had been living, and that's why it seemed like you were working there the whole time. Oh, I cannot believe that all I needed to do was look into what company you were working for, and I would have figured all of this out a lot sooner.
Wait.
Ever since you and I had first started dating, things fell off. Whenever I talked to you about marriage, you always seemed to change the topic and made it seem like you weren't going to be around for a long time. And that day, you came in drunk as hell with a wedding ring on. You started talking about how the house wasn't the way you remembered it before you came to and realized I wasn't your wife at all. Then you took off your wedding ring and left the house again for the night, leaving me speechless. At that point, I knew something was completely off, and that's why I looked into what was going on with you.
But this doesn't explain to me how you found out my wife's phone number. I heard a lot from Freya already. You texted my wife and told her to come to this wedding today?
Well, that's because I had to tell your wife about what was going on here.
Huh?
When you and I had finally broken up 3 months ago, I thought the right thing to do was tell your wife what was going on. I felt bad for her, because I had never known you were married to her before dating you, and I wanted to say sorry for all of that. I planned on letting her know the truth, and wanted to tell her that she was 100% in the right to ask for a settlement from me.
What?
But your wife turns out to be a very understanding person. She told me she won't hold me responsible for anything of what happened, and forgave me. She just asked I give her all the evidence I could of you and I have dated while you've been married to her. I guess she's totally fine with forgiving me, but she's not feeling that same way about you, Carson. And that's why, for your wedding, I made sure to let her know the time and place and that she could come when she was ready.
Wait. What do you mean she's not going to forgive me?
I'm not really sure myself what she's planning to do with you, but I know for a fact that forgiving you isn't a part of her plan. I just got a text from her. She just got it into town and will be getting at the wedding here shortly.
What did you say?
Now have fun with the remainder of your wonderful wedding. I'm heading home now. There's no way any of this could actually be happening. Everything is awful. Why do I have to deal with all of this right now? I hope you had a great wedding. How was it? Did you have the best time of your life with Carson and his wife? Not at all. We weren't even able to finish the wedding because it had to be cancelled. His wife actually came to the wedding and she brought her full wrath along with her. The whole wedding turned into a raging storm and not a single person was safe from her anger. Well, look at that. The wedding you had been so happy about turned into a living hell for you. Right after that, I had to go and talk with her and everything, and I was told that if I just kept my mouth shut around you, none of this would have happened to me. Had I never told you what happened, then you would have never gone to her and let her hear. Now my whole future with Carson is gone. Even my parents are aware of what's happened, and now know about how I stole Carson from you. Because of you, my mom came up to me and slapped me so hard, and the right side of my face is bruised. What? You're telling me that your mom, the one who always such a happy and smiling face, slapped you that hard? I'm sure that to you, being someone with so many friends, everyone's parents like you and treat you so well. But to me, their own daughter, they are not that all nice. Especially my mom. My mom has always liked you being my friend, which drove my hate for you even further. So after learning how I stole your boyfriend from you, after having let him cheat with me, she was just as pissed as Carson's wife. I can't believe it. Your parents were so upset with you. Because how much they love me. That's not all though. That wife has no plans of divorcing Carson, even after what happened this day. That's why she was laughing so much in my face yesterday, while telling me I needed to give up on being with her husband. What? She's not going to divorce Carson. She told me they have a child together, so she can't divorce with him that easily. But that wasn't her only reason. She also said that if she left him, he'd be able to marry me, and she didn't want either of us to be happily married to one another. So she's never going to divorce him. I see. It's usually the case the wife would want a divorce after being cheated on twice like that. I was thinking that would be the end result here. She has no right keeping him away from me. That witch! How can she just sit there keeping him as her ATM? Was she not satisfied with the fact that he'd be paying child support to her in the divorce? What does she think she's doing? She doesn't even love Carson anymore, yet she won't let them get divorced? What a jerk! The only jerk I'm aware of is Carson. What he was doing was cheating on his wife when he has a child with her, and then cheating on the woman he was cheating on his wife with? I've gotta say, I respect her for not going right for a divorce after all that. This is not a joke, you idiot. What the hell do you mean you respect her? She is the worst witch on this earth with the most toxic freaking soul. And not only that, but she's both older than me, and she looks even more ugly than you. Yet she told me that I should be paying you a settlement after all of this. What? She wants you paying me? I had thought the whole time that Carson never had a wife, and you were his only partner. So I was 100% certain that stealing him from you would never result in me having to pay for anything. But that wasn't the case, and my parents both tore me a new one explaining all of that to my beating red face. They told me I need to pay his wife money for having tried to marry her husband, but she told me that I'm not to pay her, but to pay you instead for what I'd done. Then everyone, my parents, Carson's wife, and even some of the guests agreed that and settled on me having to pay you, of all people. Wow, well that's just some of the best news I've had all year. I'm not playing around, you ugly whore. I was supposed to become the wife of an elite businessman. I've never saved up any money because I believe I'd get easy life of being a housewife for the rest of my time on this planet. I don't have any way of being able to pay you anything. You don't? You and I have been best friends for a long time, so you shouldn't need any money from me in order to be forgiving, right? All of those people are just being crazy right now and don't understand that you and I are the best buds. It's not like I'm going to be able to marry your ex anymore now, right? Who the hell do they think they are telling me what to do and what not to do now? I'm not listening to crap from that big mouth old witch. Hey Freya, I'm with Carson's wife right now. What? And this whole time, she's been watching what you've been sending over me. She's been going on about how it doesn't seem you've learned your lesson at all yet, and her facial expressions are very scary right now.
What? Wait, why? Why are the both of you together right now?
Well, her and I have been talking about what to do next with you and Carson. And while we've been talking about that, we've been going through all of the evidence of you and Carson being a thing, as well as doing our best to get every little bit more out of you.
What?
She's been telling me about how she understands why you feel you don't have to be punished for anything that happened here. But she also wants to make sure you learn your lesson and never act like such a selfish and ignorant woman again like you've been with me. However, what you've been saying about the two of us shows that you have not learned anything so far. So she is going to do her very best to make sure you pay every cent you have to me. And she'll be doing by spreading everything she's learned about you to everyone she knows, even though she doesn't know.
Wait, you stop that! What does she think she's doing now? She doesn't even live around here. Why is she going to try and ruin my life like that when she's in a completely different state most of the time? If she starts talking poorly about me now, that news is going to spread fast. There's no reason to do something as heartless as that to me.
Well, if you pay up, then she'll keep her mouth shut and not say anything else.
So my only option now is to pay you.
Well, I'll be waiting to you to pay me the amount I've asked for. I'm going to leave the choice of what to do next on your shoulders. But just to be on the safe side, I'll send you my bank information. After that, I received $10,000 I had asked for Vea directly into my bank account. I'm not really sure how she had money to do with that so quickly, but I'm going to assume she had sold a lot of her things to get the money. Also, due to prior feelings they already had for their daughter, Freya's parents used what happened here to disown her for good, and pretty much all her friends that were at the wedding left her. All of them left her with a final message saying people like her don't deserve friends and are better off staying single for good. As of right now, she's been working a job to save up as much money as she can to make up for the $10,000 she gave to me. And while she's been at it, she's gone around looking for men that will one day marry her. However, when asked what her hobbies are and the kind of work she does, the only answer she can give is that she's pretty and would one day like to be a housewife. This doesn't sit well with any of the men, and most tell her that beauty doesn't last forever, so she's going to have to find another way to make herself worthwhile for them. When it comes to Carson and how things went for him, he was forced to go back home with his wife, and there he is working at the main office in order to keep the money flowing for his wife. Most of the money goes right to his wife, and the only thing he gets each month is $100 to use on whatever he'd like. And his wife tells him every day that once their kid turns 18, then she'd allowed him to divorce her.